Hello everyone, my name is Abu Bakr Salim and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about arrays in C language. An array is a variable that can store more than one value of same data type. For example, if you want to store the roll number of a class, we are going to use an array. Similarly, if you want to store the marks of students in a class, then we can use an array because an array can store the data of same type. So marks belong to integer or floating point number, let's say. So we can use array in program to store that data. There are two types of array. The first one is one-dimensional array and the second one is two-dimensional array. In this video, we are going to discuss about one-dimensional array in detail. So one-dimensional array is something like this. You can see on the screen. Here, there is an array which store data and the size of this array is 6. And the data stored in this array is 1, 5, 8, 4, 7, and 9. Now you can see one thing here that all the data that present in this array is of integer data type. And on top of this table, you can see numbers starting from 0 to 5. These numbers are just to specify the positions of the elements of this array. So 1 is an element and the position of that element is 0. And this 0 is also known as the index or subscript of this array. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the index. And one thing that you have to remember is that always index start from 0. We are also going to discuss more about 1D array. 1D array is also known as a linear array and it contains a single subscript. We can initialize an array in C language by specifying the data type. Then we have to specify the name of an array and we have to follow the same rules that we have discussed in naming a variable. So array name also follows those rules. And after that, we have to specify the size of the array in the square bracket. Here you can also see an example in which I have created an integer array and the name of that array is list. Size of that array is 6 and there are 6 values that I have inserted in a curly bracket. So here curly bracket is representing the array. So you have to remember one more thing, that whenever you have to specify the size of an array, it will be specified in a square bracket, and whenever you have to specify the elements of an array, you can specify it using curly bracket. Now when we'll create this array, it will be created something like this. The first element is 4 and the subscript value of that element is 0. Similarly, the second element is 6, then 7, then 8, then 1, and then 10. And similarly, their subscripts are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, respectively. So the subscript always start from 0 and it will always end at size minus 1. So in this case, the size of the array is 6. So the last subscript it is 6 minus 1, which is equal to 5. So let's discuss more about array in this video. We'll be doing that by discussing different programs. So let's get started. So let's suppose we have to create an array and we want to assign the values to an array. So for that, we will be first specifying the data type, and I am going to create an integer array and I'm going to name it marks. Okay. And then I am going to assign it the size. So let's suppose I'm going to assign it 5. Now I have created the array and there are multiple ways to assign a value to an array. The first way is using an assignment statement. An equal to operator can be used to assign a value. So we can do it by writing marks 5 is equal to, and now we are going to assign the values 1, 5, 6, 3, 8. Let's do it on the first line. Just give me a second. So we are going to do it on the same line in which we have declared the array. 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are the elements that I have assigned. This is the first way to print, to assign a value. And let's suppose we want to print the third element of the array. So to do that, we'll be using %d, and now the third element is 7 and its index number is going to be 2, because the first index is 0, the second index is 1, and the third index is going to be 2. So you have to remember that whenever we are going to print the third value, the index is going to be 2. Now when I will run the program, you'll see the value of the third element of the array, which is 7. So the first way to assign a value in a 1D array is using assignment operator. The second way is that we can assign values individually also. For example, I want to assign a value to the third index of this array, and I want to assign 5. So now when I will print the third index value, the fourth index value, marks 3 is going to be the fourth index value. So now when I'm going to do that, marks 3, now when I'm going to run this, the output is going to be 5, I guess. Yeah, because I have assigned 5, so the output is going to be 5. It's taking some time. Now it's displayed. So yeah, this is another way to assign a value. But one very easy way to assign a value in an array is using a loop. We can also insert a value in an array using the scanf statement. So I'm going to do that also using a loop. So for int, now we know that index starts from 0. So I'm going to assign a value to a variable. I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, because the last index is going to be 4. So we do not use to include, and we do not need to include 5 here. So I'll be using scanf statement here, scanf %d, and we'll be using ampersand sign, and after that we'll be using marks 5, and that's it. So now when I'm going to run the program, the program will prompt me to enter a value. So let's suppose I have entered 5 in the first, then 7, then 9, then 2, then 1. After that, there is going to be an error. Okay, there's an error because I have not ended the program. That's why the program has crashed, and now it's okay. Let me remove this, and let me remove this. There was an error. Okay, so I have used 5 here, which due to which the program didn't work well. But now let's do it again. So now when I will run the program, I will be prompted to enter a number. So let's suppose 5 is the first number, then 7, then 2, then 1, then 6. And as soon as I have entered the 5 values, the program will stop executing. So you can do it using a scanf statement, and then at the end we can also print our array values using for loop again. So I is less than 5 once again, because the size of the array is 5 and the last index is going to be 4. And printf is going to be the statement that we'll be using, and we'll be printing marks I. So let's run this program. There's an error. Now we will run the program, and when I will run this program, we'll have to enter different values here. So 5, then 7, then 2, then 3, then 8. And then when we run the program, you'll see that those values has been printed. This means that we have assigned the values using scanf statement, and these values has been stored in this program. So this is the 1D array. We are going to discuss different programs related to 1D array in the upcoming videos. But first of all, you have to understand this concept of how to store a value in an array, how to assess a value in an array, and how to print a value in an array. Once you are done with it, then it will be very easier for you to understand the upcoming videos. We'll be discussing different programs as well. So if you have any question, you can always ask me in the comment section. And if you have liked the video, please share it with your friends and please subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.